Hello, it's Soul with a video that will recap what we know about World of Warcraft Dragonflight with my personal reactions and takes and questions. So if you don't mind, like the video and subscribe for all of your WoW Dragonflight needs and wants. So we begin with a B-roll, and I'll be reading directly from the WoW Dragonflight fact sheet provided to media outlets. Following a period of calamity for the world of Azeroth, long-forgotten forces are stirring in the mythical Dragon Isles, the ancestral home of dragonkind. World of Warcraft Dragonflight, the 9th expansion for Blizzard Entertainment's acclaimed massively multiplayer online role-playing game, sends players to this fabled land and ushers in a new era of high fantasy adventure. As long-dormant forces begin to stir in their ancient homeland, the dragons of Azeroth, at times both allies and adversaries of the mortal races, call on the heroes of the Alliance and Horde to help reckon with the looming threats and ancient mysteries on the verge of awakening. Discover the Dragon Isles, journey to the new level cap of 70, and explore the primordial wonder and ancient secrets of the Dragon Isles across 4 new zones. The rolling waking shores, the vast Onarian plains, the stark Azure span, and ancient majestic Thaldraszus. New race class combo, menace your foes or empower your allies as a Drakthir Invoker, WoW's first ever race class combo. Design both humanoid and draconic forms, pick between the Alliance and Horde, and venture forth as a healer as preservation specialization, or range damage dealer as devastation specialization that harnesses the collective might of all dragonkind. Soar through the skies. Dragon riding, an all-new method of aerial movement, allows you to take the skies atop a Dragon Isles Drake, which you will befriend in each of the 4 new zones as you level up. Customize your drakes as you progress, collecting more appearance options and unlocking new abilities that will enable them to fly farther and faster. A new talent system. With this complete overhaul, you'll be able to make creative and flavorful talent choices at every level without compromising your effectiveness. And new profession system updates, crafters rejoice. We're introducing player-driven work orders, new profession equipment, and an all-new specialization system, and more to help you become the artisan renowned through the realm. And finally, a new HUD UI. Get ready for a fully updated and customizable heads-up display or user interface that's been created with contemporary displays in mind, designed to be effective, attractive, and accessible. And that's it. That's the entire fact sheet. There's much more to learn. For example, we got a first look at the raid/gladiator sets, presumably for Season 1 of Dragonflight. That's also about it. And that phrase was my very, very early impression of the Dragonflight reveal. Like, that's it. Like, okay, we're going to level 70, but we don't know how chromie time is going to be affected or what will happen with the Shadowlands experience. We have a new race and a new class, but almost nothing on the new abilities or racials. We haven't even had a chance to playtest any of this. Dragon riding came in as a fun and interesting surprise, along with the fact that this will be available early on, meaning that some form of flying will be available at the start of Dragonflight. This expansion reveal is what I predicted it to be. It's the start of a new era in World of Warcraft the story and World of Warcraft the game. Story-wise, Stone Dude goes to sleep and later Stone Dude wakes up. The question of how and why he woke up might involve the big bad that we eventually run into, but in the meantime, the premise of Dragonflight is very grounded. The end of everything isn't just a day away. The sky didn't break, no invasion is happening, something is waking up, and we champions will answer the call. That's it. The story can go anywhere from there, and I actually like that. The whodunit isn't even a big deal because, at least as far as we know, activating the Dragon Isles isn't like activating the Forge of Origination. We're not gonna die tomorrow. In fact, let's just kind of glide around and barrel roll for a little while. That's it. I can't help but keep repeating the phrase because it's a double-edged sword. No doubt there are some viewers who walked away from this thinking the same thing, like, where's the endgame stuff? Where's the endgame progression system? What's there to do beyond raids and dungeons and PvP? Surely there will be like reputations, but what's the thing to log in for each and every day? But I also need to kind of pull back and realize where we came from, where we've been, and where we're going. I'd like to think that some WoW players are just used to have this routine of getting a crazy fangled feature that lives and dies within the expansion's timeline. Dragon riding might fall under that, but as far as we know, dragon riding isn't the thing to grind in order to get gear, at least so far. The likes of Legion, Battle for Azeroth, and Shadowlands meant 7 years of being used to daily logins and world quest binging, AP grinding, farming for soul ash, and participating in all these interlocking systems to get us the things that we need so we can do the things that we actually want to do. If that was coming, we'd know about it now as an upcoming feature. We didn't get a hint of having to choose between so-called dragon covenants, but instead, it seems that 4 main reputations at the start of Dragonflight will have its own sort of separate renown system. Here's what it sounds like to me though. It sounds like it's going to be like reputations, each with weekly unlocks of mostly cosmetics and maybe story campaign stuff, quests and other stuff that's just like renown. If you're behind, you can easily catch up. You don't choose one rep over the other, you could just kind of do them all at once. And there's something that's, I don't know, it's supposed to be alt-friendly about them that they didn't really share. So why wasn't that in the grand reveal? My guess, it's because in practice, it's an incremental improvement on an existing thing, and that's it. And if that is it, will people want to check out Dragonflight? I'll touch on some of the other features, like the Drakthir seems pretty cool. It's unfortunate that their humanoid forms are limited to just one race, but the race and the new Evoker class seem to check all those usual boxes. I mean, it's a hero class, it's either ranged or heals, it wears mail, or maybe it's made out of mail, you know what I mean? I'm excited for people who are happy about it, but I'm not so wowed by it myself, mostly because, well, there's no tank spec, so I'd be lying if I said that I was even tempted to play it. I am interested in the idea of some of the mechanics of holding down a button to charge up a cast. It's not unlike allowing a full arcane missile barrage or a ray of frost to deal its full effect, and I can imagine a number of caster abilities that can pull off the same trick if people were to somehow customize their classes to work that way. Anyway, back to what Dragonflight is trying to offer. I bet that one of the bigger draws for people will be the revamps to talents and professions. In fact, with no other significant systems to introduce so far, that is going to be what Dragonflight's success hinges on. Talents and professions aren't just a way to min-max our characters or make money. I mean, they translate to group activities and the player economy, but I feel like these things are integral to the roleplay experience even if you play by yourself. As players, we've been limited to our specialization and 7 talent selections and our gear, and finally whatever fangled borrowed power system there is. Somewhere here in this mess is the mathematically ideal spec for single target heals or group AoE on a particular encounter. Also in here is probably the build that you find the most fun. What they're doing with the return of talents leaves the impression that they're being very thoughtful about this re-implementation. Class talents define abilities that your character has regardless of each spec, with what looks like active abilities that you choose, and strong passives reminiscent of those from WoW's history. Specialization talents cover the buttons and passives most relevant to your playstyle. What's interesting about going back to trees is that as expansions go on, and assuming this thing stays, the tree can grow both vertically and horizontally. Depending on the build, we can have tons of buttons or fewer buttons. Maybe pull off a hybrid spec that no sane person would use, but you can try it out because the possibility is there. Why not? There are profiles that you can create over here. You can share them with others or import presets because you don't care to know any better. And you can just hit a button to reset them, which tells me no having to visit like a class trainer or an NPC. The question though is, can this be done anywhere in the world or will it require a tome? I'm not sure, but I'm kind of blown away by just how relaxed the team is now about letting players just fiddle around with things compared to before with, having to reset Azerite gear and paying this increasing gold cost or recharging conduit energy and that sort. Remember how dual specialization was such a big thing? This right here is what I hope to be the answer to borrowed power, which is to just keep adding abilities and selections as we move from expansion to expansion, and then let us decide if we care about them or not. Meanwhile, we didn't learn a whole lot about professions. There are a couple things, but I'll try to cover them. There's going to be profession gear, which borrows a bit from other games like Final Fantasy XIV, where you have special gear with special transmog that gives special stats that allow special procs, bonuses, things like that. But unlike Final Fantasy XIV, this gear is going to inhabit separate, profession-specific gear slots. It also seems like, as usual, crafting won't have a failure rate. It's just gonna make gear better, I guess, or consumables more potent. Or in other words, if it's not of the highest grade, it's literally useless, right? Which isn't true, of course, seeing as how the market for lower rank legendaries in Shadowlands right now is still very lively. Work orders are also coming, where players can just say they want an item. These are the mats that I have, and you can put up a work order on the auction house. A crafter then can look at the auction house and decide, okay, I'm willing to finish like this crafting order for someone in exchange for this much gold. And they mentioned some possibilities to me, which I found really compelling. Like, it seems like a player can target their guild or even a specific person for a work order. Now, to me, that sounds like a great way for guildmates to be like, hey, I want this and this crafted, but no one happens to be on at the moment. So what they can do is put up a work order targeted to the guild. They can set the commission rate at like 0 gold, and then someone can make the mats out of the guild bank. They can then fulfill the order and, you know, ta-da, they're done. And I think that is pretty darn awesome. They mentioned how fulfilling these work orders will make a crafted item like a weapon or a piece of armor soulbound, and how that can open up some more interesting opportunities for crafters to make powerful gear that goes directly into the hands of a character or a client. Now, I'm not sure if I get it very well, and there's some important context needed here, like, you know, if the gear that we can craft is going to be good. A big profession revamp has got to have some awesome items to craft, and it doesn't necessarily have to be on par with mythic gear, or maybe it should, but I would be down for making replicas of gear. Maybe not as strong, but maybe it has like the same transmog model, or maybe it's the same but a different tint. I'm just eager to learn more about this profession revamp and specializations, like will there be a glyph specialization, or will there be glyphs at all? As a full package, Dragonflight had a very safe presentation. Story-wise, it feels like a full-fledged expansion based on exploration and discovery. Systems-wise, it's all about introspection, with a focus on giving its existing evergreen systems a much-needed update with what I hope is a blueprint for expansions to come. My concerns, though, go back to the question that I've been trying to avoid for the past couple of minutes, like, that's it? Because I'm very excited to play this expansion already. It's just that I feel like some folks are going to feel a sort of, I don't know, withdrawal from the daily grind for a borrowed power. Remember all the clamor for account-wide systems? Well, that's only going to gain so much traction now with so few systems. When I log on to my level 70 character a year or so from now, and it's the first day of the raid week, I suppose I'm going to want to farm up renown or whatever it is with each of the available reputations. I'll do some activities, I'll do my raid, maybe a dungeon or two. But then what? What about the rest of the week? How am I going to spread all that out? I admit that I'm anticipating that I myself is going to experience this withdrawal as a longtime player who just put up with these numerous features and systems over the years. So while it's a non-raid night, while I'm waiting but not really waiting for my guild to get on for keys, I hope to see a really exhaustive world content sort of progression that's going to give me some long-term goals. Like, I've sung my song over Covenants and the Sanctums and their transmog. I'd love to see the volume, just the sheer volume of farmable content in Dragonflight as well. The wait for more information might not be too long. May is coming up, and we're going to learn more about what new Warcraft thing is going to be released on mobile devices. Maybe we'll learn more about Dragonflight there too. When we do, I'll talk about it right here on this channel, so make sure to like the video and subscribe for more coverage. Join us over on Twitch as well. The times are somewhere here on the side, and that's kind of all I have to say for right now. I'm sure that more news is going to come out before we know it. So I hope to see you soon. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.